We pump those profits back into the profit cycle to generate even more profits. And I know what you're going to say. Profits? Yes, Stan. You're soaking in them.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy ExtrmWill with Extreme Tech. Take a quick look at how all these machines are doing. I'm up to 25 now. So, obviously been doing a lot of tinkering as I'm growing pretty fast. And I had the week of vacation, so part of the reason I'm tinkering, and I kind of had everything planned to do a lot of tinkering on it this week. So my uptime, reliability is probably not as high right now as it should be on all these machines. So probably it's going to take about like 2 or 3 days for this to kind of normalize out a bit for my runtime to be high enough for me to have a good enough uptime score to be getting jobs. But it doesn't look like it's doing too bad right now. It looks like for the last little bit, it's had a pretty solid block here at about 40 cents every 15 minutes. So, obviously, I'd like to see it significantly higher than that. But we should have a decent enough amount of jobs right now. I think when I looked last night... Where did I look last night? Oh, last night was still... like 30 cents. What am I saying now? Like 40 cents? Yeah, I think when I looked last night, it was down here. Like this, 30 cents. And it wasn't enough jobs to think it was even worth trying to look at. One thing I did see, though, the Chrome remote desktop, you can't bring up more than 20 at a time. So now that I'm up to 25 machines, I've got to do this a little bit differently. So we will bring up all of the server motherboards in the first part, and then in the second part I will bring up all of the non-server motherboards. See, I try to have these in order of how many processors it is. So for these first two, these are both 20-core processors. Skynet is a 16-core, and then all these BCPCs. They're not actually all BCPCs anymore. Like the first, 7R or 6R, and then it's kind of half chopped up. Some of them are, and some of them are just ones that I made, and some of them are the actual Brandon Coin PC combo kits. But those are all 12 cores. So let's go into the first one. I believe this is a 20-core processor, 128 RAM, RTX 4090. It is currently doing $6.29. If you look at kind of how much it's been using right now to make that, right now we're at 1% of the processor, 11% of the memory, and 11% of the GPU. So it's not really even using any resources very much at all right now to give me $6.26. So that's not too bad. That's pretty nice. This can make, seen them get up a little bit above $7. So for that particular card. This one, I don't know why this one picked up a job when it first started. But this one hasn't picked up a job in over a day, which is kind of messing with my thoughts on how I thought a lot of this worked. Because it's on a 20-core processor with 128 megabytes of RAM, this is only a 4070 Ti, but I thought this card would be more likely to be rented than less likely to be rented, but it's not being rented, and I don't know why. I don't know, maybe if it'd be a good idea for me to switch this one out with a 3090 to see if a 3090 would be rented out better in this spot. I don't know. Or if the more tinkering is just going to add more to my downtime. But I think with the 20 cores, this should give me the maximum, or well over the maximum number of V-cores that can be rented. So with more than the maximum amount of memory that can be rented. So I thought this one would do significantly better. I don't know why it hasn't. I don't know if it's just uptime, or we'll keep monitoring it and find out. I had ordered 3 of these 20 core processors. The original plan was to put all of my 4090s on them, but the other 4090s were working, so I didn't want to put them all on it. And then now, for the purpose of observation, I think I want, if I do get that other 20 core chip in, I think I want to put a 3090 on it just for observational purposes, to see what works better, to see if these 20 core chips are going to run better than the 12 core chips, because these 20 core chip setups are probably like $150 to $200 more expensive to set the whole thing up than the 12 cores are. So we'll come in here to the next one. I'm going to try to fire through this as fast as I can just to get through all the machines in a reasonable amount of time. So this one is on my AMD Threadripper 1950X. This was the PC that was originally in my office. 16 cores, 64 gigabytes of RAM, RTX 3090, $5.25. That's pretty nice, because normally they only make about $5, so that one's making an extra 25 cents more. So that's nice. Nice to see the 3090s doing something. Let's see, this one we are getting into. So now we are into the 12 cores for the whole rest of this set. 128 gigabytes of RAM, RTX 4090, $6.19 per day. Last one can do 7. I'm plenty happy with 6. Calculating in general. Anything other than calculating is good. Oh, I'm still half asleep. Alright. This one is just calculating. That's kind of heartbreaking. I wish it was working, but whatever. So, yeah, this is another 12 core, 128 RAM, RTX 4090. Calculating. So we're on a 12 core, 128 RAM, RTX 4070. Just calculating this one. I don't know if this one's had a job in a couple days either. But it's just calculating. This one's got a job. 12 core, 128 RAM, RTX 4060 Ti 16 gig, $4.47. So that's pretty nice. I haven't seen these go above $5 too often. They're normally like this $4.50 to $4.75 kind of range. This is more of what I've seen. I only have the one. So, and when I had it on the other machine, still half the time I still saw it at like $2.50. So I think like that $4.50 to $4.75 range on one of them is pretty decent, as long as it has more than 64 gigabytes of RAM. I haven't seen anything yet that says it has to have this 128, but I just figured I would try and see so I can monitor, because right now it's at 41. So if it had only had 32 gigabytes of RAM, it couldn't have picked this job up. It would have needed probably the 64. It might possibly have been able to pick it up with 48, but I don't know. It might not have let it pick it up with 48 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go to this next one. Is just calculating. There's another 12 core, 64 gigabytes of RAM, RTX 3090. Yeah, I like most of my 3090s. It's not doing anything. I thought one or two of these 3090s were running. No, this one looks like it's not running either. 64 gigabytes of memory, RTX 3090, 12 core processor, calculating. 4070 Ti, 96 gigabytes. It's using 40 memory, so this one again would have needed, I think with all these 40 series cards, everything with more than 10 gigabytes of VRAM, I think as long as it has 64 gigabytes of memory, it can pick these jobs up. So this is doing $4.78. Pretty common, you know, between that and $5 seem to be what they're doing. 4070 Ti. Let's go to the next machine. 12 core, 96 gigabytes of memory, RTX 3090. It's machine 8, so this is one of the ones I added in last night. Not running. I thought some of these were running. This is machine 9. So this is the RTX 3080. This one I knew what wasn't running. But I wanted to see, this one wasn't the open air rig. When we get into part 2 of the next ones I open up. This card's the one I'm kind of looking forward to just trading in right now because I haven't been able to get this thing to do anything. So 64 gigabytes of memory, RTX 3080, 12 core processor, calculating. This one's got to be running then because I thought a couple of these were running. Nope. So this one I want to see. Well, this machine was actually built out for me to put that last 20 core chip in. So I labeled this one 99 because this one actually has the more expensive cooler on it for the 20 core processor, so it can cool another like 50 volts or whatever it is for the rating. This has the heavy duty cooler on it and the more RAM. Because I wanted to put the bigger processor in, but the processor chip didn't work, so I had to send it back and return it. Yeah, this one's not working either. I want to say one of these was working in a couple minutes. One of those 3090s was working a couple minutes ago. See, this one's working. No. 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 So one of my 53090s is working. Ouch. Oh, yeah. And then 2 of my 4090s are working. My other 40 series cards, I think, are about 50%. Alright, so let's get into part 2 of this then. So these are all of my... These aren't really open air anymore. This one that says open air is actually in open air mining rig. These are all actual, like, more PC setups. These aren't the server motherboards. I think this stuff gets a little bit more interesting. Looks like a little more variety. These are pretty much all just 30 series cards. So, i7, 8 core, 64 gigabytes of memory, RTX 3060 is doing 10 cents. So it's at least working. 3070, 64 gigabytes of memory, i7, 8 core, RTX 3070 is doing 10 cents. Nice. So I haven't seen any of these 3070s pick up a job yet. I put 3 of them in last night, or yesterday as I started upgrading. I took the cards that were in these and put them up into the server motherboard, so all of my 3090s and 40 series cards are now all on the server motherboards. This one had the 3080 in it, and I bumped it up because I needed to bump one more card up onto the server motherboard, so I figured why not do that one and see what it does. So this one probably still needs more uptime. I don't even know if the 3070 can pick a job up yet or not, but I have 3 of them running. This one just did 10-cent job, so I guess it did something. So this one right here, let's see, i7, 8 core, 64 memory, 3070 Ti. I think this is the same job it's been on for like 2 or 3 days now, where it's doing $2. So it's $2.26 now. It was doing $2.40 before. So I don't know. I'd assume this is still the same job. It just, I I'm pulling the resources out from screen sharing it right now. So I think that is slowing down its potential earnings. So for another 3070, 64 gigabytes of memory, Ryzen 7, 8 core, RTX 3070. This one's on a 10-cent job too. So when I looked a couple minutes ago, the 3070s weren't doing anything. They're both doing at least 10-cent jobs now. So I would say that's better than nothing. I know some people don't like the 10-cent jobs. I feel like sometimes you got to go through what you got to go through and give some to get some. Alright, so next one, let's see. Intel i5 6-core. So we're into the 6-core machines now. 32 gigabytes of memory. RTX 3060 Ti. I don't think this machine will let me put in more than 32 memory. Yeah, it says on the top here. It's 32 max. I tried putting 64 in it. It wouldn't let me with a particular motherboard. So this one's also doing 10 cents. This one still needs the updates. We know this one's running. So we've seen this one working on this job already for a while. This one's been on this job for quite a while. Let's see. So this is an i5 6-core, 64 gigabytes of memory, RTX 3060, the 12 gigabyte card. All my 3060s have the 12 gigabyte card. I don't have any of the, I think it's the 8 gigabyte, 6 gigabyte. I don't even know what the other version of the 3060 is. I don't have any of the cheaper version of the 3060. All I have are the 12 gigabyte ones. But my 3060s do tend to be running pretty good here. This one is at $1.75. So that's not too bad. It's been on that one for a while, so it's still waiting to do the update. I'm not going to do the update until it stops working. If you've seen how many machines are already just calculating, I don't want to deal with any of that. So let's see. This next one here, this is a Ryzen 5, 64 gigabytes of memory, RTX 3070 Ti. This one's doing 10 cents. I think my other one, the other one's doing $2.40 with the more memory in it. So this one can do up to like 240 as what I've seen. It might be able to do a little more, but I think 240 per day is the most I've seen from it. So this one I put the 3070 in. I don't know if this one's going to be able to do anything at all or not. I was thinking with this machine, I don't know if this one's having a problem with the bus. I don't have it in the top slot for the GPU. I have it in the second slot. So I'm wondering if that's set up for the bus to not be big enough, because this one keeps saying that the what is it saying, the GPU doesn't have sufficient memory. I keep getting that error. I wonder if it'll tell me in here. Tell me in here? No. Yeah, like the GPU doesn't have sufficient memory. So I wonder if this one may be a problem with the bus because of the slot I have it in. I can't put it in the top slot because when the machine was shipped to me, the top slot we put the graphics cards in was bent, because they didn't do a very good job shipping it correctly. So yeah, but it doesn't have a job. I'm not that surprised. I wasn't that worried about it. I just put the prettiest looking 3070 I had in that one just to find out. This is the one we have our printer hooked up on here in the house, so it's not as big a deal. It's the only one that's not out in the server closet. So let's go to the next one here. This is RTX 3060 Ti, Ryzen 5, 3600, 6 core, 64 gigabytes of RAM, RTX 3060, $1.82. I believe this is one of the ones where the video out doesn't work correctly on the card, but it's still able to run the job and still able to make me money, so I'm pretty happy about that. RTX 3060. So this machine here, this is running the i7 4790K 4 core, so this is like a 10-year-old machine. It's running the DDR3 RTX 3060 where the video out doesn't work correctly, and right now it's on a 10-cent job. I guess is okay. I'd rather see it at like, you know, $1.50 to $1.90 kind of range, but I don't think it's even done a 10-cent job in 2 days, so I will take 10-cent jobs because it's better than nothing. Still not taking any real resources to do that 10-cent job, so not that worried about it. So these last two machines are both basically the same thing. i3 4-core machine, 32 gigabytes of memory, RTX 3080. This one's doing $1.81, and this one is doing $1.92. These are probably my two most reliable machines. They have been running the most constantly. So you can see there's some weird variant stuff that goes on. I think I managed to knock this out pretty quick. See, yeah, we're at 22 minutes. Nice. Nice. I got through that pretty fast. Hopefully it's somewhat coherent. Yeah. All running on Salad AI. So pretty straightforward. Is there anything else I want to say? Yeah, it's probably going to take like 2 days for everything to normalize because I moved so many cards around. And so it's going to take those machines the time to normalize. I don't know if you move one machine, if your reliability score hurts your reliability on all of them, or if it just hurts your reliability on that specific machine. I'm not really sure, but I mean, I probably just, in the last 2 days, I probably significantly turned off and messed around with at least, wow, probably 75% of them. Because I started on Monday and Tuesday, I was upgrading the RAM on everything. And then I added maybe 7 machines this week. Did I add 7? 6? 5? I'm not even sure how many I added. I added at least 5 this week. I might have added those other 2 last week. So, but then every time I add one in, I pull a card out from a machine, so I have to shut that machine off, and then the new one I turn on. And then I have to hope that I don't accidentally turn off a wrong machine like I did last night. I think it's why the one 4090 right now isn't working, because I accidentally turned off the wrong 4090 machine when I was moving stuff around. And everything is labeled nice and clean, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm paying as much attention as I should. So yeah, the vast majority of them within the last week I have turned off probably more than once to move parts around, and I need to stop doing that once I go back to work. Next week that should definitely be done. I think right now that looks like it'll probably be very heavily getting reduced too, because I need more money to spend on this in order to make any more adjustments. I have a little bit more stuff coming, but I think honestly I'm only going to be able to put up one more machine right now without spending more money with stuff that's just coming in. So I may just throw a 3070 on a 12 core rig just so I don't have to shut another one off, because I don't even know what I would put to move forward. Like, I guess I could try to put a 3060 on a 12 core rig, but I don't know, I could just throw a 3070 on it. Like, I don't know if it really makes a difference. But then it will be just waiting and upgrading cards. Probably going to use the Newegg trade-in program. Bring that over here real quick. We can take a quick look at this. This is how much money Newegg will give you for your card when you trade it in. So if I trade in 3070, they'll give you $230 for them. So I may just do that. I was trying to sell them. I was trying to sell my 3080s on Facebook Marketplace, and that seemed to be kind of a pain in the butt and wasn't really working. So if you want to see that Newegg screen, you can always just Google it. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna call this video right here. I'll do more. Things change. I was hoping that was going to be a little bit more interesting. I didn't see anything there that really surprised me. Hopefully maybe some of you guys saw some stuff that would. The one big thing I can still think of is, I've already brought up in the other two videos, is the job from the 3070 Ti with the 64 RAM. It was able to make almost 50 cents more. It was able to break the $2 mark with the 64 RAM on the 30 series card, whereas the 32 gigabytes of RAM, anything other than the 3090, I haven't seen it break the $2 mark for the 30 series cards. So other than that, everything we saw right there, we just looked at it all looked pretty vanilla. So I don't want to do too many videos like that, but I did get up to a whole bunch more machines, but we need a couple more days for all of them to normalize. So I'll try to do another one in like 2 days probably, and see if we can go through and show more of what they're actually making and all that. If you guys have any questions, comments, questions down below, maybe I'll make videos on stuff if you have specific questions that I can do. So I did another video where I went through what's in the closet and answered a couple of you guys' questions on it. So if you have questions, leave them down below and I will try to get back to you guys. That's it. Let's end this so we don't get too ridiculous. So take it easy and I'll see you next time. Peace.